You don't have to agree. You may disagree. You may feel the whole thing from top to bottom, but 53,000 people have put money into an Underdog Fantasy account. They've drafted a team in the big board single quarterback competition, and they have compiled a list of the top 10 rookies from the 2024 NFL draft class. Again, you ain't got to agree, but we got 50,000 plus people telling us this is what the top 10 rookies should be. We're going to talk about it on this stream, where the ADP is right, where it may be a little off, and where we think things may go as we progress through this pre-draft process. And if you're not familiar with this tournament, with the competition, there's a link in the description, or you can head to Underdog Fantasy right now. Don't leave money on the table. Use the promo code WAKEUP, WAKEUP. Use the code WAKEUP, and Underdog will match you up to $100 so you can get in, join this tournament, win the damn thing. Glad you're here. Let's get it.
Okay, let's get it.
Welcome back to the station. Welcome back to the channel. Y'all know what it is. Your boy Ray G. You can find me on X at RayGQ. And yes, rookie season is in full swing. I did a top 5 running backs episode a couple of days ago. Right there will be on the screen. Should have went top 10, but a really good feedback on that show. A lot of people agreeing with the ADP. Got a lot of people that didn't agree with where drafters are taking these rookies right now. But we're going to have a much more robust conversation about the position that is absolutely loaded from top to bottom in the 2024 NFL draft class. The wide receivers. Everybody loves them. Everybody knows them. Let's pull up the board right now and take a look at the top 10 rookies according to this ADP. So here we go. At the top of the board, come on, y'all. Y'all already know who it's going to be. Marvin Harrison Jr. coming off of the board as the 19th overall selection right now in these drafts. And we'll talk about where he's being drafted in relation to his counterparts. But Marv, for most people, is the wide receiver 1 in this class. Son of the Hall of Famer Marvin Harrison. But he's built nothing like his pops. He's 6'4", 210, 215 pounds, physical specimen. Topped out at over 22 miles per hour as far as in-game speed, miles per hour tracking in the 2023 season. Dominant performer, should walk into an NFL team and be a very, very, very good player from day one. Marv, for most people, the clear-cut 101, and a lot of people say he's not only the best wide receiver in this class, but the best overall player in the entire draft class. Not going to throw out the term generational. We did that too damn much last year with Bijan Robinson. We're not going to talk generational, but Marvin Harrison Jr. is the real damn deal. Now, coming off the board is wide receiver 2, wide receiver 23 overall, and Marv is coming off the board as wide receiver 11 overall, is LSU wide receiver Malik Nabers. I have seen some incredible comps for Malik Nabers. I've seen him comp to Jamar Chase, who also played at LSU. I have comped him to Isaac Bruce. Those of y'all that are a little bit older, y'all know how damn good Isaac Bruce was. I think Malik is a bigger version of that. I also saw a couple this past week that I really like. DJ Moore, my friend Jordan Reed from ESPN has comped him to DJ Moore for quite some time. But Steve Smith, a bigger version of Steve Smith. Shout out to Keith Sanchez over at the Draft Network, who threw that comp out for Malik Nabers yesterday as well. Point is, whether you're comping him to Isaac Bruce, Jamar Chase, Steve Smith, DJ Moore, he's in good company. This young man is a stud. Malik Nabers is dope. So him coming off the board is the second wide receiver from the rookie class in this tournament. Not shocking to me at all. Odunze out of Washington from my home state, Nevada, played at my rival high school, Bishop Gorman, in Las Vegas. Odunze took his talents to Washington, and he balled out. Back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. Bigger wide receiver. Everybody in this class that we named so far, Marv, Malik, Rome, all over 6 foot, 200 pounds. These guys are put together. Odunze, I've talked about it so many times. He's not the wide receiver 3 in this class. I believe he's the wide receiver 1C, with Malik Nabers being the wide receiver 1 lowercase a and Marvin Harrison Jr. being the wide receiver 1 capital A. Odunze, smooth operator in my opinion, plays a lot like a bigger version of Chris Olave, just smooth. The game never seems too overwhelming for him. He's never out of control. Fluid movements, great with his body positioning and control. Not as big of a yak guy as Malik Nabers or Marv, but Odunze is a stud, coming off the board as wide receiver 33 right now in Underdog. Brian Thomas Jr., the teammate, the running mate to Malik Nabers coming off the board as the rookie wide receiver 4. Wide receiver 41 overall, so just get the gap here. Marv coming off the board as wide receiver 11. The wide receiver 4 coming off the board 30 picks behind Marvin Harrison Jr. But Brian Thomas Jr., another one of these big, prototypical, old-school X's at 6'4", 210 pounds, deep play threat, big touchdown upside. I believe he's top 3 in LSU history in scoring touchdowns. He's going to be a first-round pick, and I think after the combine, his stock is only going to continue to rise up. At wide receiver 5 in the rookie class, Troy Franklin out of Oregon. A lot of people, big Troy Franklin fans. Wide receiver 5 coming off the board is wide receiver 49 in Underdog. Franklin's claim to fame is going to be speed. He can get down the field in a hurry. Hands, we'll see how those work out, long-term in the NFL. The Oregon offense, a little bit different under Dan Lanning. They were just chucking the ball deep or a lot of screen plays. But Troy Franklin's speed is no joke. He can get downfield in a hurry. That speed will translate. And I think he would be best served playing on a team that already has a true number 1 target. Let him stretch the field, be that downfield threat, the seam stretcher, change the math on the defensive side of the ball. Troy Franklin, wide receiver 5 from the 2024 class. Keon Coleman, the athletic specimen out of Florida State. Common theme here. Franklin 6'3", Brian Thomas 6'4", Rome 6'3", and Keon Coleman listed at 6'3", 6'4", coming out of Florida State, transferred from Michigan State the year prior. The counting stats aren't going to be there. Didn't put up monster numbers this year, and it seemed like he was going to. The first game of the college football season this year, he smashed, and it was like, uh-oh, here we go. The transfer Keon Coleman is cooking, but the passing attack at Florida State tailed off some last year, so you saw the production dip. Lost Jordan Travis down the stretch. Even Trey Benson didn't have the type of season that a lot of people thought. This is the player that a lot of people are concerned about right now. I'm seeing comparisons to Treylon Burks. He's going to be the bust of this class. Not as refined of a route runner. Separation issues. All I'm going to say is he is a physical specimen. And if you can harness that all together, package it up with the right landing spot, with the right coaching staff, I think there's a ton of upside for Keon Coleman. He's not my wide receiver 6 in this class, but I am not out on Keon Coleman by any stretch of the imagination. It's a big ball of clay, man. There's a lot that you can mold and do with Keon, but it may take a little bit before he hits the ground running. But wide receiver 6 off of the board currently. Wide receiver, 53 in Underdog. Adonai Mitchell. A lot of people knew him as AD Mitchell, prefers to go by Adonai. And coming out of Texas, coming off the board as the wide receiver 7 in this class. Another 6'3", 6'4" guy. Like, there's a common theme. This is a big wide receiver class. Adonai Mitchell is good at everything. I wouldn't say he's spectacular at one single thing, and there are some advanced metrics that make you a little concerned, yard per route run data for Adonai Mitchell. But overall, this is a big play threat, a big red zone target at his size. I think he's got the requisite athleticism to pop off some big plays. Adonai Mitchell coming off of the board after Keon Coleman. It's about where I have him ranked, wide receiver 8, 9 in the class. After Adonai Mitchell, you have the biggest riser coming out of Mobile, Ladd McConkey out of Georgia. Yes, Ladd McConkey played a lot of slot, did a lot of different things at Georgia. Again, the counting stats are not going to be there. You got to kind of look past that with a player like Ladd McConkey, who is what we call a separation specialist. And for those of y'all who don't know, Ladd McConkey, that brother is white. So a lot of people are going to comp him to Cooper Kupp, to Wes Welker, to Danny Amendola. Hell, you might even get some people comping him to Danny Woodhead for whatever reason. I'm just going to tell you, this young man can separate in a hurry. The speed is there. The hands are there. I got a chance to meet him, talk to him in person during my time in Mobile at the Senior Bowl. He says he does model his game after Cooper Kupp, but he got some Devontae Adams and Justin Jefferson in there as well. Good job today. Ladd McConkey, Ray Garvin here with him. I got one question for you, Ladd. You're asking a lot of stuff about how you perform and how you're feeling. When you look at your game and you're thinking about transitioning to the next level, who do you model your game after?
Everyone always asks me that. I don't know. The easy answer, like say, like Cooper Kupp, Julian, I'm like a slot guy, but I really like to take, releases from some people, top of the routes from others. So,
who do you like best? Who's the best release that you like to kind of emulate? You got Jets, Devontae Adams.
Yeah, I like Devontae Adams, top of the route stuff. I like Justin
sir.
Jefferson, and then Cooper Kupp's so efficient in and out of his brace, so smart. So, I like to take everything. I like to, watch highlights of people, see what works, but let me try that, bring it out here and see what I can do.
Ladd McConkey, Triple Crown incoming. If he's that level of prospect, but I do think Ladd McConkey, when it's all said and done, is going to enter the NFL probably as a second-round pick at worst. So him coming off of the board right here is wide receiver, 62 off of the board. Ladd McConkey, there you go, out of Georgia. Coming off the board as wide receiver 9 in this 2024 class, you have Xavier Worthy out of Texas. Speed, route running, it's all there. This young man is my wide receiver 6 currently in the class. The one big thing about Xavier Worthy, who is a walking big play waiting to happen, the hand's a little inconsistent. And I know a lot of people say drops don't matter. Yeah, they don't matter if you're Jamar Chase or Devontae Adams, and you're going to continue to be force-fed regardless if you catch the ball or not. It's just a little problematic and worrisome for me because they are littered all over the tape. And I'm not going to sit here and call them concentration jobs, this and that. You drop the damn ball, X. Catch the ball. The speed is blinding. The big playability is there. He's got a diverse, robust route inventory, short, intermediate, and deep. I like X Worthy a lot. Just got to improve those hands. Coming off the board is wide receiver 9, wide receiver 63 overall, according to Underdog. And the final rookie from this subset, I was a little shocked to see this rookie right here as the 10th wide receiver off of the board. We are going to go to Washington and talk about, where is it at? Where is he at? There he is, Jalen Polk. Jalen Polk out of Washington, the running mate to Rome Odunze. Jalen Polk, I love this kid. I think he is incredible. He is a locked and loaded top 10 wide receiver for me from the rookie class. He's very good. 6'2", another big guy. Worthy 6'1" as well. Ladd McConkey, the only one sub 6 foot here in this entire top 10. He's the only sub 6 foot wide receiver. Jalen Polk, the best way to describe him is he's got dog in him. He's got dog. He can do the stuff underneath, short, and big play contested catch down the field. I, too, think that after the combine, Jalen Polk is going to be a big riser. So there you are. Those are the top 10 rookies according to how people are drafting them right now. For those of y'all that are listening, maybe not watching, you got Marvin Harrison Jr. at 1, Malik Nabers 2, Rome Odunze 3 coming off the board as a top 33 wide receiver. Wide receiver 33 for Odunze, 23 for Nabers, 11 for Harrison. Brian Thomas Jr., wide receiver 4, coming off the board as the 41st ranked wide receiver overall. Troy Franklin, wide receiver 49, but wide receiver 5 amongst the rookie class. Keon Coleman, rookie wide receiver 6. Underdog ADP, wide receiver 53. I think I'm going to do it that way better. Adonai Mitchell, rookie wide receiver 7, but he's coming off the board. Underdog ADP, wide receiver 59. Ladd McConkey, wide receiver 8. Underdog Fantasy, wide receiver 62. Xavier Worthy, wide receiver 9. Underdog Fantasy, wide receiver 63. And Jalen Polk, wide receiver 10 from the rookie class. Underdog Fantasy, wide receiver 70. So there we go. Those are the top 10 rookies according to Underdog ADP. Big board competition, 53,522 and counting right now. Watching this live as I record the show. But let's talk about where these players are being drafted, around, ahead of, behind, and see if we've jumped the shark maybe just a little bit with a couple of these guys. So let's pull the board back up and start right here at the top with Marvin Harrison Jr. So you see ADP of 19. There's 12 slots. After 12, how many numbers? 7, 207. Marvin Harrison Jr. coming off the board, 207. I was actually in a draft last night. He came off the board at the 112 spot. I was like, wow. Crazy. But overall, coming off the board, middle of the second round, ahead of players like Rashee Rice, Brandon Ayuk, Devontae Adams, Deebo Samuel, Stephon Diggs, Chris Olave. What do y'all think? Like, real talk. For me, this feels very rich. This feels like he better come in the league, and you're talking about right out the gate, year 1, 85 for 1350 and 10. Can he give me 90 and 1401 and 8? That's a tall order, right? Or maybe we're 75 and 1212. I'm not saying that he can't eventually get there. But to place those expectations on a rookie wide receiver, no matter how good they are, it's a lot, man. And I'm very curious. Family, talk to me watching this stream. Comment below. What are your expectations for Marvin Harrison Jr. in year one? Are you expecting Puka Nacua? Are you what would be success and what would be failure? I don't know. But being drafted here at the 207 spot, and that's taking him over Rashee Rice, Brandon Ayuk, even Devontae Adams in that uncertain quarterback room in Las Vegas just seems a bit risky for me. Just seems a little risky for me, but there's Marv in between DJ Moore and Rashee Rice. Let's move down the board because there's a big gap between Marv and the rookie wide receiver 2, Malik Nabers. And there he is. Malik Nabers coming off of the board, ADP of 35.2. Actually just drafted him in the 5th round of an FFPC tournament that Scott Connor and I are in. But you got him right in between Mike Evans, DK Metcalf, Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith, Keenan Allen. I love Nabers. I think Malik Nabers is going to be a star in the NFL. But my goodness, if I had to put my money on it today, which one of these wide receivers is going to outproduce the other? Give me Mike Evans. Give me DK Metcalf. Waddle, yeah. Keenan Allen, I know he's banged up down the stretch, but healthy with Herbert. Probably outproducing Malik Nabers and Drake London down there much later on down the line. Quarterback change in Atlanta, good things can happen for Drake London as well. So this is another one where I don't mind Nabers as much here, but think about everything that's, Marv, Rashee Rice, Ayuk, Adams, or would you pass and take Malik Nabers right here, drafting him over Waddle, Devontae Smith? This feels more appropriate. Wide receiver 23 off of the board. You're banking on him to be a back-end wide receiver 2, opposed to a back-end wide receiver 1 off the rip. And again, that's not saying that Marv can't get it done, but placing those expectations on what will be a rookie wide receiver, no matter how good we think they are, seems a bit unfair to Marvin Harrison Jr. But Nabers off of the board here, in between Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle, that feels more appropriate. So let's move down and look at Rome Odunze, who's in a very, very interesting spot, sandwiched in between Jordan Addison and Calvin Ridley. And there's reports out right now, Ridley's not going to re-up with the Jags. They're going to go in a different direction. They don't want to pay Atlanta that second-round pick. You got Terry McLaurin, and you've got last year's rookie wide receiver 1, Jackson Smith-Njigba, being drafted after Rome Odunze. Again, y'all talk to me. What are the expectations for Rome in year 1? Like, I'm looking at this board, and I don't know how much Odunze I've taken, because if I'm in this range, I just have a lot more confidence in Terry McLaurin, Jackson Smith-Njigba. George Pickens' situation is a little volatile with Mason Rudolph and Kenny Pickett, but Christian Kirk with Trevor Lawrence. I can take Rome Odunze at 10 spots before Christian Kirk, or I can save that value and get Kirk a little bit later. So it's interesting to see where the community is already valuing these rookies in February. We ain't even had the combine, pro day, none of that. So my big sort of pitch to you is, if you're thinking about getting some value and you want to jump into this and you think that these 60,000 people are out of their damn mind, use the promo code WakeUp. Get in some of these drafts now before the combine. And people are like, I don't know. Before the NFL draft, get in, take advantage of the value that's currently on the board. Let's move down and talk about Brian Thomas Jr. Where you at, BTJ? In between Chris Godwin, DeAndre Hopkins, right below him, Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs. So you got the 2 Packers wide receivers. You got the aging vet Hopkins, who we don't believe will be in Tennessee next year, and Chris Godwin. Am I taking Brian Thomas Jr. over Christian Watson? Probably. I just am. I'm good on Christian Watson right now. Am I taking him out of Romeo Doubs, Cortland Sutton, Deontay Johnson? Again, y'all, like the rookie optimist in me wants to say, oh, yeah, he's way better than those guys. Like, there's no doubt. He's better than Jacoby Myers. He's better than Jamison Williams. He's better than Cortland Sutton. Like, the rookie optimist in me wants to say absolutely, but, I'm okay here. Like, I'm fine. You want to take a shot on Brian Thomas Jr. here, the upside, first-round pick? I don't mind it at all. I think this is the range where I'm good with some of these rookie wide receivers, and we are at rookie wide receiver 4 here, and he's wide receiver 41 off of the board. Let's move down. Talk about Troy Franklin. Again, every one of these players, I want to know what y'all's expectation for these guys are. Troy Franklin, my expectation is field stretching wide receiver 3 in year 1. That's And that's no slight. I'm not expecting Troy to come in and be the alpha 30% target share, give me 150 targets in year one. That very well may happen. We saw it. No one thought it would be Puka Nacua or Tank Dell. So this could be one of the range of outcomes. But I'm not banking on him doing that year one. When I look at the players being drafted after him, Mike Williams, if he's healthy, he's probably going to out-target Troy Franklin. Hollywood Brown, again, if he's healthy, probably a more impactful player overall for your fantasy rosters. Khalil Shakir, I don't know. But you got Tyler Lockett and you see Keon Coleman there as well. Wide receiver 5, wide receiver 6 amongst these crowds. Like, I don't, again, I'm fine with a couple of shots on these guys. But when I take the rookie hopium hat off, it's like, man, give me Mike Williams if he's healthy. Tyler Lockett's a walking 1,000-piece. Now we get to Jahan Dotson and those guys. I'm fine taking some shots on some of the rookie upside, but is Keon Coleman the right rookie to place in that spot? That's another question for another day. Let's move down the board. We see Jerry Jeudy way down there, Dontavian Wicks. Now we get to the rookie pocket right here. We've got Dontavian Wicks followed by Adonai Mitchell, Brandon Cooks, Gabe Davis. Then we got Ladd McConkey, Xavier Worthy, Quentin Johnston, Michael Wilson. Interesting spot here, okay? Everybody hates QJ. Didn't do a damn thing last season, but he's going to be back in LA. New coach, new offensive coordinator. Is there a chance for some second-year redemption for Quentin Johnston? I know most of you will say L to the no, but I'm never say never. Never say never. Who produces more in 2024, Michael Wilson or Ladd McConkey? Wan'Dale Robinson or Ladd McConkey? Josh Palmer, Demario Douglas, Pop Douglas, or Ladd McConkey X Worthy? Adonai Mitchell over Gabe Davis, Brandon Cooks. I think these are fine. I don't think these are mispriced. I don't think they're overpumped, overrated. You're talking about wide receiver 59, wide receiver 62, and wide receiver 63. You're banking on these guys for it to have a spike week or two in this format. If you get 2 spike weeks out of Xavier Worthy where he finishes as a top 15 wide receiver, it's worth this price, right? I'm just looking and saying, is there any value to be found to where you can get a more consistent receiving option opposed to the rookie hopium that we have here in February? I don't know. Talk to me, family. What do you think? And the final wide receiver, and I'm actually going to cheat, and we're going to go a couple of more because they're there. There is Jalen Polk, wide receiver 70, being drafted ahead of Marvin Mims Jr. My current, just letting y'all know now, wide receiver 5 in the class, Roman Wilson out of Michigan, being drafted behind Jalen Polk, behind Ladd McConkey, Keon Coleman. I'm telling you right now, I take Roman Wilson over Keon Coleman. I take him over Adonai Mitchell, Ladd McConkey, and Jalen Polk. I think he's that good of a prospect, and after the combine, mark my word, we will see his ADP rise coming off of the board as wide receiver 72. But yeah, like Jalen Polk, Marvin Mims, I'll take the shot on Jalen Polk. Any of the old guys down here, I just want to point out a couple of names. I want to point out a couple of names that I think are being drafted a little bit later than they should in this type of tournament. Jalen Hyatt, right here off of the board, is wide receiver 81. I'd be drafting him much higher. And Trey Palmer, for a format and a tournament like this where it's best ball, you don't have to start a roster. You don't have to set a lineup. You just draft them and forget it. That's the beauty of best ball. What he did towards the end of the season, I'm kind of in on Trey Palmer. He might be one of my highest rostered wide receivers so far through 20. I think I've done 20 or 22 of these drafts. I'm going to put 100 up before the combine. Before the NFL draft, I'll have 100 of these done. Trey Palmer right now, one of my highest roster players, as well as Jalen Hyatt. Other rookies that we see here, got Devontae Walker, Xavier Legette, and I saw Malik Washington creeping up down there right in between Yoshi Voss and Ricky Pearsall out of Florida. And there goes Rashad Bateman, Brendan Rice. But there it is. We went through the top 10 rookie wide receivers according to Underdog ADP, and here it is one more time. Marvin Harrison, Malik Nabers, Rome Odunze, Brian Thomas, Troy Franklin, your top 5, followed by Keon Coleman, Adonai Mitchell, Ladd McConkey, Xavier Worthy, and Jalen Polk. There it goes, family. Talk to me, baby. What do y'all think about this top 10 list? How do you think these 50, almost 4,000 people have done so far through this tournament? And again, if you want to get in on this action, I think it's incredibly valuable, especially for you redraft fantasy football players, to start to get some of this information locked in right now. Go over to Underdog Fantasy, use the promo code WAKEUP, get an instant deposit match up to $100, and then, yeah, it'll be all good after that. So I appreciate y'all tapping in. Hit that thumbs up button, comment, like, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff, and make sure you tap in everything that we're doing at Destination Debbie. Much love. I'll be easy. I'm out. Peace.